Hey there, everybody in the land of YouTube. Annette Dion here. I'm the host and founder of the Psychic News Network. Welcome. It's Monday, August 18th, 2025. This is my third video today. I hope you're keeping your vibe up. So today was quite a day. I'm seeing questions, so that's what I'm noticing. Okay, so let's settle in. Because today was quite a day. Welcome to early Halloween at the White House today. Yeah, right. Yeah, you want to see a costume? Because actually, you know, it's frightening. This. Hang on a second. I don't want anybody to say, I don't want to see him, I don't want to see him, because we have to face the monster. That is a monster. Yeah. Wow. Boy, is he ugly. Boy, is he ugly. We used to say fugly. Did you guys ever say fugly? Anyway, I'll only call somebody that if they're really horrible. Where do we begin? Yeah, he can barely keep his head up. I noticed that too. He can barely keep his head up. So anyway, thank you for being here tonight. We've been doing this for, well, I've been on YouTube here for like 7 years. I never thought it was going to go on this long. Damon says that picture gives him diarrhea, maybe because that's what he was going through. He did end the press conference very abruptly. Let's ask a question, because some of you saw that there was I think it was an AI generated picture of a Russian tanker with an American flag on it. Even though we're inching closer to it being common knowledge. I mean, we know. I've known for years, you all have known for years, that he works for Putin. But now that other people start to see, who haven't been paying attention, oh look, there's a photo of a Russian tank wielding an American flag. People would notice that. So let's ask if it was that AI generated. It was AI generated. Yeah, he didn't see the Prime Minister from Finland who was sitting across the table. Yeah, he's Gonzo. We might as well call him President Gonzo, but I don't want to insult the Muppet named Gonzo. And yeah, Warren, good to see you. No, Newsmax has to pay $67 million to settle the Dominion defamation lawsuit. So, yeah, I heard that good news today. But what I really know is that we have to all see how bad it is. And those of us who have been like having channels for 7 years where we go over the news, I don't know if any of you do that. We see it, and it's so frustrating. I know how frustrating it is. I got that image was AI generated of the U.S. flag on a Russian tank. I just read the pendulum on it. So I think it really has to become so clear what we're dealing with before the whole thing shifts. And I want to mention that yesterday I did a video by the water. And you may have caught that. I was down on the beach here. It was later in the day. And I just did do a pop-up earlier from a doc. But on my mind all day was when I read yesterday for the pop-up on like the outcome of this meeting. And what struck me so strongly was that when I read on this meeting that happened today, when I read on it yesterday, I got the Three of Swords, which is really like heartbreak, pain. And I don't remember what the next card was, but then I also got the Empress. And what was really striking to me when I was doing that reading was it looked really bad, but the outcome for us was things were going to shift. And I do see them shifting. And I do know that Kamala is coming back onto the scene. Yeah, Electrostorm was saying about that picture, it could be a hint that Putin wants our military to help with Ukraine. Yeah, that was the first thing that I thought. That was the first impression that I got. And somebody's saying that looks like a Putin double. To me, in Alaska, I mean, I was barely even thinking about it. But when I saw Putin, I was like, that's not him. It just didn't. And when he opened his mouth to talk, I was like, I don't remember him ever sounding like that. It was real weird. So here's the distraction of the day. Now we really have to get hip to what his game is, what Dumpy / Putin's game is. This has all distracted us from the Epstein files. I saw a funny meme today. It was a meme of Zelensky with a suit on. You might have seen this. That had the word Epstein, the name Epstein written all over it, like in white chalk. So Putin that wasn't Putin. Yeah, it wasn't. It was, and I thought it was really obvious. Kamala is coming back onto the scene. She has her book called 107 Days, about her very short campaign, the shortest campaign in history. September 23rd, I think it is, it comes out. And she's showing up more. And I'm going to do this, and I want all you to do this, and I think I'm going to start posting this on my community post page. I'm going to start sharing around. I'm going to look up the videos from the DNC last year, and I'm especially going to look up the video to share, and it better still be on YouTube, of the huge rally at the Ellipse that Kamala held. There were like over 100,000 people there. It was electric. Remember? It was electric. What happened during that rally? We all remember this. I have an assignment for all of us. Let's promise that we'll go and we will rewatch those and we will share them, because we need to be reminded. First of all, we need to be reminded that we're being distracted up the wazoo. There's distraction, distraction, distraction. And he did it again today, and we'll talk about that in a second. But remember where we were. Remember where we were. We were in a place of hope. We were in a place of feeling joyful. We were in a place of having a vision. We were in a place of acknowledging the America that we actually are. I was talking to Kathy Beal earlier. She's still in Texas. And she was expressing that everywhere she was going, it seemed really all-inclusive, and people were good and happy. And, and I talk about that all the time. And I just talked earlier about how a year ago, next week, like a year ago, probably I left around the 24th, 23rd, 24th. So a year ago, almost to the day, I was in D.C. People were happy. Things were happy. I talk all the time about, when I work in Salem, or even last year at Halloween in Salem, people were happy and uplifted. All the festivals that have gone on here, people are happy. Crime is down, right? So that's who we really are energetically right now. That's where we are. That's how we are. Right? That's the reality. And then we have Dumpy, who's trying to convince us that this country is dead, right? He projects all the time. He's dead. He's half dead, right? The economy was awesome. We were doing great. Thanks, Zircon, for putting my information up. And then Russia got in because they said that they would. When I saw Lavrov with the USSR t-shirt on, making a mockery of all this, of us, I was reminded, whenever I see Lavrov, I'm reminded about how when we finally, after 6 months of holding on to aid to Ukraine, when MAGA the Christian Mike Johnson, said okay to the aid to Ukraine last year, finally said okay after 6 months. How many lives are lost during that time? We don't know. We'll never know. As soon as MAGA Mike said, we'll send the aid to Ukraine, Lavrov said, okay, now we're going to watch America become more divided because they psychologically manipulate people's minds, which is why there were so many MAGAs. Cards. Right? Russia interfered. Not once, but twice. And now what Putin has on his hands is an absolute dementia-ridden, stinky buffoon. I'm saying stinky for a reason because I'm sure he is. Russia, if you're listening, right? Right? Yep, it's all there. And it will become so much more obvious to not just you and me, to everybody. And then we get to decide. Then we get to decide. Listen to me. Whether we want to be under Russian rule. Did you all hear that? And when we decide that we don't want to be under the Kremlin's rule, I wish I was kidding. When we decide that we don't want that because that's the choice that's being handed to us right now, then we will be on the streets and we will never shut up. I mean, I hope you're all calling your representatives. I called my representative last week and I said, this was maybe on Wednesday, I want to know why Seth Moulton and all the Democrats aren't saying anything about this meeting with Putin in Alaska. Why was nobody saying anything about it, right? We will be loud and we will be effing annoying as all hell when it comes to, do we want to be under the Kremlin's rule? Because if you think for 1 microsecond that Putin didn't tell Dumpy, give me Alaska, you might be a little delusional or not paying attention. At the least, he wants Alaska's resources, because what does Alaska have? Alaska has oil. What is Russia suffering from? Well, their economy is in the toilet, but if Putin has oil, he can like re-up his coffers, right? So, David saying, Annette, I think we have been doing along with corporations. Remember it to always say this is an oligarchy. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. It's an oligarchy. It's a kleptocracy. And there's a word for it. I don't know what the word is, but when you staff the entire government with really stupid people, there's a name for that. I heard Ben Marcellus say it at one point. Did he ask for oil and gas from Alaska? Didn't I just say that? Maybe there's a delay. Okay, so I'm going to. Oh yeah, I'm going to read what Darren's saying because this is definitely relevant. On November 18th, 1956, Nikita Khrushchev said, "We will take America without firing a shot. We do not have to invade the USA. We will destroy it from within." But see? See? 1956. Thanks for that little history lesson. And I'm going to ask this question because it keeps popping into my mind that this has been going on since the year 2000. I'm going to ask if Putin was involved in the year 2000 in the Democrat losing the election. Because Al Gore didn't lose that election. He conceded and he shouldn't have. Did the Kremlin interfere with that election? Whoa, I thought it was going to say no. Rather be dead than red. Oh, that's an old saying, right? Yes. Yeah, we're going to talk about, too, all the distractions that are being thrown out there. Yeah, Al Gore won, right? We've been going through this since 2020, since it's 2025. We've been going through this since the year 2000. Not sure how Obama got through the crack, but he did 2 years in a row. I mean, 2 terms in a row. Let's, I'm going to pull 3 cards, and I'm actually going to ask about the media, the mainstream media. Is the mainstream media giving us, like, really what's going on? Yeah, remember the hanging chads and then the Supreme Court interfered? I will never forget it. I remember where I was when I heard the news that George W. won the election, when Al Gore won the election. I was living in Nashville and I was painting my apartment. And I had the radio on and I was like, what? Yeah, things haven't been the same since. So I'm actually going, yeah, they purposely used the wrong paper for the ballots, and then they had the whole hanging chads thing. And then the next year we had 9/11. Let's follow the timeline of history. You'll see the pattern. You'll see the thread. You'll see the red Russian thread running through everything, especially since 2000. So I'm pulling 3 cards to see if the mainstream media is covering what's going on with any degree of accuracy, which is really that Dumpy works for Vlad. I'm kind of glad that it's out now. I'm kind of glad that I don't feel like I'm the only one and you don't feel like you're the only one that knows this. How's the mainstream media treating this? This is like a damned if they do, damned if they don't. Rose is saying you have a hanging chat in your tarot deck, and I don't know what that means, but it sounds funny. Cheryl saying I can see Russia from, yeah, remember Sarah Palin? I can see Russia from my house. Mainstream media. This is like damned if they do, damned if they don't cover what's really going on. Oh, the hanged man. Rose is referring to the hanged man. Oh, that doesn't have the same meaning. Ace of Pentacles. I kind of feel like because it's going to be so prevalent in the news. Ginger's asking, do I think Putin is dead? Yeah, this is, I've never thought this is the original Putin. This is not the original Putin. It's my psychic impression. You might get different answers from different people, and the fact of the matter is we'll never know. Because that's how secretive Russia is. But the Putin that was in Helsinki doesn't feel like the same one. The King of Swords says that as far as the mainstream media goes, they feel like they're damned if they do and damned if they don't cover what's really going on. Ace of Pentacles indicates that people want to know the news, and it looks like that money will, their own greed might work in our favor. So it looks like the mainstream media, in the face of all this horribleness, is going to see that the truth tellers are getting all the airtime. They're getting all the eyeballs. And more eyeballs means more advertiser dollars. So let's ask this. Are we going to see a noticeable shift away from, and especially with that Smartmatic lawsuit today with Newsmax having to pay, was it 57 million, Warren? Yeah. Is the mainstream media going to start talking about, I didn't even get the words out of my mouth, Trump's connection with Putin? Yes. Yes. Yeah, crazy. All right, so that was about mainstream media. Now, back to the distractions. By the way, thumbs up. We have 200 thumbs up. We'll do a group hug together. We really need it. Yeah, MSNBC is now going to be MS Now. That looks like M Snow. They need to know we don't give a damn anymore. We're not watching. I think they know that. I think that's why they're trying everything. I'm picking up that the mainstream media is going to get to a place where they're like, what do the people really want to watch? We want to hear what's really going on. Not for anything, but Jake Tapper still drives me crazy. I still want to slap him for being such a jerk. The distraction of the day is that Pootie told Dumpy that we shouldn't have mail-in voting. Did y'all catch that today? So then he goes on. He's just like a little like a mimic, right? Like Pootie is the puppet master and he's the ventriloquist, and Pootie's speaking through Dumpy. It really is exactly like that. It really is exactly like that. So now mailing your ballot in is a problem. Yeah. Yeah. Russia had mail-in votings. It doesn't matter that Russia had mail-in votings because voting is a hysterical joke in Russia. Because I mean, I saw pictures of the last election that Russian soldiers were going knocking on people's doors, you know, holding them like at gunpoint. Vote for Putin. That's Dumpy's biggest dream. Dumpy's biggest dream is to make us North Korea. I know, it's bad. Yeah, so anyway, let's see how that's going to go. Yeah, and it's so amazing how they just talk about Democrats cheating. Let's not ever forget that voting, like cheating and voting was never a thing. It was never a thing. It was maybe a couple people, you know, made a mistake, or you know, somebody voted and then they died. You know, yeah. Voting, like discrepancies and cheating and voting. Can I get a witness? It was never a thing. It was never a problem. Do you know any Democrats that cheat on the elections? It's not easy to cheat on an election. I think we have a dad joke. How do billboards talk? Sign language, of course. I like it. By the way, before I pull cards on the next topic about mail-in voting, I did start Googling why everyone's handle has changed. And I didn't really get to the bottom of it, but it's a YouTube thing. And something about so advertisers can find you, or I'll do what I can to find out more. Kamala finally said Republicans cheat. I did hear that. So 3 cards about how it's going to go to try to stop democracy. Because, I mean, let's just be obvious, right? Dumpy wants to stop democracy. Look, he's trying to gerrymander the hell out of Texas. Thank God for Gavin Newsom, because, you know, the Texas Democrats had to go back, but they didn't go back until they secured a solution for the gerrymandering. And now we have to wake everybody up. Okay, so as far as the mail-in voting being taken away, what a fool. He's going to be sorry because it's all over the place. Dumpy's going to be sorry that he proposed getting rid of mail-in voting. Mail-in voting is huge. Somebody in Washington is saying, I think we can get 3 to 4 more seats in West Washington. Good, good, good. So as far as how the mail-in, taking away mail-in voting is going to go, this has no substance at all. This is a 7 of Cups, the card of delusions, trying to pull the wool over your eyes. This is the fool that Dumpy is. This is the 8 of Cups. He's just trying to hide all his sins. So so now we can play a game called the distraction of the day. We'll call it the Dumpy distraction of the day. Will other blue states do the same as Gavin Newsom, gerrymandering their maps? Let's see. I think they are. And I've always gotten that DC would be a state someday. Yeah, Trump used mail-in voting. Putin told him, "Oh, you have to get rid of mail-in voting." Like the Kremlin doesn't help Dumpy enough. And I'm sorry, but it's not lost on me that he's complaining. Dumpy's complaining about the voting and how the Democrats cheat, and he's sitting in the freaking White House. Anyway. Okay. It's making me crazy. Hang on. Okay, so I'm gonna ask a question. I keep forgetting what I was gonna ask. Oh, the blue states. Are the blue states gonna follow suit? Yes, yes, they're gonna gerrymander back. It's gonna be the gerrymander match. Back and forth, back and forth. I think Massachusetts will too. Let me ask. Well, Massachusetts, oh yeah, strong yes. Yeah. Sorry about your handles being changed. That's really annoying, isn't it? Okay, I need a sip of my fake beer, so I'm going to do that. You guys have a drink? Cheryl's up here in the Northeast. We had a beautiful fall-like day today. It was really nice out. Okay. Right? I'm having a cold beer anyway, but it's really, really, really nice out. I'm not going to go through all the states to see if we're all going to gerrymander back, but let me do this. Will there be enough retaliatory gerrymandering? I have a yes. We will have enough. Amanda's here. Nice cool day, Amanda, today, wasn't it? Yes, that's a really strong yes that all the blue states are just going to. They're going to gerrymander back. Let's just do this. Are we going to see a lot more of Kamala? Are we going to see a lot more of Kamala in the next 2 weeks? Are we going to see a lot more of Kamala? Kind of, sort of. Okay, so I don't want to spend too much time on that. There's too much other stuff to read on. Let's pull 3 cards about Dumpy's health because it's so bad. We want to see how much worse it's going to get. It's amazing to me how many people despise the man. That he's still, like, standing just amazes me. Dad joke. What does the USS Enterprise and toilet paper have in common? They both circle Uranus looking for Klingons. Thomas, I'm talking about Dumpy. That's like a double gross out. His walking was awful. And I did see the name of the... Because remember the other night I was asking anybody if they knew the different types of dementia? It's something with the frontal lobe. Any of you do work with dementia patients and know or have studied it? Like it's a frontal lobe dementia type thing. Because the way that he was walking on the red carpet, that by the way, Putin demanded the red carpet, Putin demanded the photo shoot to have our American soldiers lay down the red carpet. Putin, he orchestrated that whole thing. That was by design. Is it frontal lobe dementia? Yeah, let's ask that. Because like Dumpy was walking like a drunk person. He wouldn't have passed a test if he had been pulled over driving. So it's frontal temporal, that's it. Thank you, Cheryl. I'm going to ask this. Was Dumpy drinking? No. And he says he doesn't drink, but we don't really... Okay, let me ask this. Does Dumpy ever drink? Yes. That's kind of a strong yes. That's a pretty strong yes. He does drink. But he wasn't drinking then. Was he on any kind of drugs that may have caused him to walk that way? Yeah. Really strong yes. Yep. Okay. Does Putin know that that Dumpy has dementia? Whoever's posing as Putin. Yes. All right. And does he have that frontal temporal dementia? Is that an accurate read on his yeah, really strong yes. He has that frontal temporal dementia. Yeah, so that plus all the drugs, and he's a very, very sick man, Darren saying, I totally agree. Yeah, so that walk on the red carpet was actually drugs and dementia. So I'm gonna pull 3 cards about how his health is gonna be after all the excitement from today. He didn't look excited. He looked like he was being held hostage. Did you guys see him at the table when he was with all the world leaders? I mean, everyone's like, oh, you know, they look pretty fit, and they have their edge, and they're talking intelligently, and he's like this. Like a big hunched over walrus. It was awful. So his health. Okay, so this is the 8 of... These are my weird kind of naked cards. This is the 8... The 8 of Swords, okay? The back card is the 8 of Swords. The card in front of it is the Ace of Swords. So the 8 of Swords is a sword card that means feeling imprisoned. Like I said, it feels like... Today felt like he was being held hostage. So asking about his health, he feels like he's being held hostage. So I would guess, sadly, that when somebody gets dementia, they probably feel, and I've picked this up about him frequently, a lot, feeling like the walls are closing in and losing control. Because when you start to lose control of your mind, it's a very sad thing. That's what it must feel like. And the Ace of Swords, that's the truth coming out about his health. And the Queen of Swords is that's the truth coming out about his health. He will not be able to hide it anymore. That's what I'm referring to. He's being held hostage by Putin. Yeah, even though I was reading on his health. He's definitely, we're going to read on that. Let's read on what Putin asked for. Hang on, I have my other nefarious deck. I found all my decks today, I think. And that is what is representing the United States. And that statement alone, Rita, let's highlight that. And that is what is representing the United States. Anybody who's okay with that will sit and do nothing. Damon, Cheryl's inviting you to Maine to go and get some lobsters. So you're going to stay at your place? Okay, so 3 cards about Putin. Unfortunately, I get that he's smiling, and Dumpy even divulged during the meeting today, at some point, he said, I'll be talking to Putin right after our meeting. This is what represents the United States of America. We don't want to be the Russian Federation of America. Putin wants that. So let's just get a general read on how Putin is doing. Read Thomas's dad joke. Now he's anti-Trump, anti-MAGA. I like that. It's a good handle. How's Putin doing? He's 100% dependent on the United States failing. That's how Putin's doing. And he actually thinks that he's succeeded. The 3 of Wands is Putin thinks that he made it. The 10 of Wands, it's still a huge burden, but he has Damon's favorite card there, the Lover card. He's got Dumpy right in his pocket, and he feels like, Putin feels like this is ironclad, and it's going to work. Huh. So are his puppeteers trying to figure out how to get him out of office? Now, interestingly enough, did you all get to see my video that I made a couple hours ago? I found a little spot on a dock, little launch pad. So I was doing that reading. It's just a short one. It's like 12 minutes from today. And I'm pulling cards about JD and Rubio and the rest of them, but mostly JD and Rubio. And I was really struck by that they were quiet in the meeting. Maybe Dumpy told them not to say anything. But JD and Rubio were quiet. And I had this sense that there's a part of them that's sane and reasonable. I know it's hard to believe, but they used to not like Trump at all. And they used to warn us about Trump when they were sane, when they were in the cult. Yeah, just so check that out. So I was kind of struck by, just like I was startled yesterday a little bit, in a good way, when I saw that the meeting was going to be terrible and I saw the heartbreak and everything, the meeting from today. But then the Empress card came up and it was like, something good is going to happen. And then today, when I was reading on the meeting that happened today, I picked up that JD and Rubio were starting to feel what felt a little bit like shame, ashamed. And I really pick up that being in that room with all those European leaders trying to save the lives of innocent people by getting this war to end. The magnitude of that, of all those world leaders coming together, that historic moment. As shallow as JD and Rubio are, as much in the dumpy cult that they're in, as deep as they're in, they were moved by that. I'm not saying they'll do anything that's like a come to Jesus moment, but they were a little startled and a little moved by that. And we have been pumping the White House with a lot of white light in our visualizations. So, let's read on them. Yeah, the world had Zelensky's back, and I don't think that JD and Rubio were very comfortable. Because it's kind of like fear of missing out, FOMO. You want to be, there's a part of everyone, if they're somewhat normal, that wants to be seen as good and on the side of good and on the side that most people are finding like the popular side. You bet the others were thinking traitors. I think they came to the awareness that they are really traitors. That they're going to be seen in a really negative light for the rest of their goddamn lives. So let's read on them. So we have the Three of Wands. I just got the Three of Wands just before. Oh yeah, that is what's going on. Okay. So, as far as JD and Rubio, I'm reading a little bit more in depth about it, even though I read on it a little bit earlier on my pop-up. They looked really stiff, right? And they were like in the background. They weren't in the foreground asking questions or anything. They were just kind of in the back, standing there, watching. So, what I see here is they know that they missed out on doing the right thing, and it's too late to fix it. And Rita's saying, will the world save us? So before I continue with this reading, I want to say something about that sentiment. And Thomas just said it. We need to save ourselves. If we don't, as an American populace, if we don't get out of this sense of, I hope it gets better, then we're in really big trouble. And I mean that in all seriousness. If we don't get out of that, oh, maybe it'll work out. Oh, I hope it works out. Is Kamala going to save us? Is somebody going to save us? If we don't get out of that, we're in really big trouble. And I'm not picking on you. I'm just telling you what I know. That's the prevailing feeling of everybody that I encounter. Oh, it'll be okay. But this is a different moment in history, and we've got to not say, I hope it gets better. I hope NATO saves us. I hope Kamala saves us. And I'm not reprimanding anyone. I'm just asking that we shift. It feels better to engage. And we will save ourselves. It feels better to engage, right? Even after I do videos, I feel better because I've engaged in dispensing, information that I have, right? So let's just pass it on. I'm actually glad that I saw somebody write, the world will save us, because it gave me an opportunity to say, we got to shift out of that. Yeah, we have to keep doing. Yes. And it is happening. Did you see what happened in D.C.? All those protesters showing up? Fearless. Fearless. And Rita, I know you're saying your vote is the ultimate resistance, but we're in a different time. Back to JD. Yeah, I'm sorry. I just really had to bring that up. We aren't damsels in distress. And I'm working on my next Substack, which is about that. So I have a lot to say about that. So the Four of Cups means that Rubio and JD are feeling like, oh boy, we might have missed our opportunity to be considered good people on the right side of history. And the Three of Wands is something new is brewing for them. Armed with my Subway, the guy that threw the sandwich. Oh my gosh. Pam Blondie. Maybe I'll read on her tonight. She's out of control. The King of Cups is Rubio and JD both are really concerned that they took all that dark money that they did. Yes, they did. Do we, we have 200 thumbs up yet? Is it time for a group hug? I mean, you have to look at, I mean, the whole thing about, I didn't hear the entire story about a guy throwing a sandwich at was it a cop? And Pam Blondie wants to send him to prison for 7-8 years. That's what happens in totalitarian countries, right? I'm just laughing at what somebody's saying up there. I keep you sane. That's great. Should the people storm the Capitol and arrest them ourselves? You mean it? Well, you know, like here we are, right? Here we are, like, oh my gosh, that man needs to go to prison for 8 years because he threw a sandwich? What about the insurrectionists? What about the 1 million people that died of COVID because Dumpy kept telling us it was a Democratic hoax? We're not up to 200 thumbs up yet? Man, I was gonna do a group hug. All right, I need your participation. It's not gonna just, I'm not gonna just hope. I hope somebody gives us 200 thumbs up. Dumpy had the vaccine and he was withholding it from the blue states. And he didn't win the election. He didn't win the election. He did not. He didn't. Dumpy takes all of us for idiots. That's because he projects his whatever is negative onto us. Yes, Thomas, I don't know if your Kamala mug went out today. I did send a few out today. If not today, it's all packaged up and it's ready to go. Assault and bologna? Instead of battery. Okay. Yes, and Dumpy said if you don't count the numbers of COVID of cases, then it just goes away. He said the reason that we have so many COVID cases are that we're doing too many tests. Yeah. Let's pull 3 cards on the MAGAs. How are the MAGAs doing? Do they really want to be Russia? I did a meditation on white light in the White House and you saw flames in the windows and it was burning down. Damon saying I had to stop and turn off the TV. That's funny. How are the MAGAs doing? Okay, well, look at this. This is how the MAGAs are doing. See? Oh my gosh, what do we do? Oh, did we really vote for this? Oh no, prices are going up. Oh no, America's going to hell in a handbasket. That's how the MAGAs are doing. 5 of Pentacles. And a change of circumstances. I'm asking the question is how are the MAGAs doing? Big change of circumstances they notice, and then the death card. It's over. MAGA is fried. MAGA is done. Burn your red hat. It's interesting. I kind of have this impression that we're going to see people burning their MAGA hats and Trump flags. Is that true? Read Thomas's dad jokes. It's a little hard for me to do both. Thank you, Thomas. Are we going to see people, like a lot of people, like burning their Trump flags? Yeah, interesting. I was bringing positivity out, and your anger was interfering with. Oh, okay. So Damon's referring to our guided meditation for a healed America. Yeah, just do the meditation again. And his negative thoughts were coming in. And seeing the White House in flames. Anyway, so it was yes. It was yes about the MAGAs will be burning their red hats and their bumper stickers. There's a guy in town. I don't know who he is. I need to take a picture of his truck. Who has a huge sign that says "Dump." What do you say? It says "Trump for prison," and it looks just like one of those Trump flags, but it says "Trump for prison." I gotta find out who this guy is, and he's got all over his white truck black letters about all the bad things about Trump. It's beautiful. I'm gonna go meet that guy and shake his hand. Do I believe that Dumpy is the third Antichrist? The description is really describing Dumpy. I don't, even though I have church spirituality, I'm not a Bible scholar. And I think the book of Revelations is really hard to read. I think a lot of the Bible is really hard to read. All right, so let's see. We really don't have 200 thumbs up yet. What is wrong with me? How come I can't get it drummed up? All right, we'll get there. Let me know. Let's read on MAGA Mike. Let's read on MAGA Mike in relation to the Epstein files. When they come back, there's going to be a hearing with the victims of Epstein and Maxwell. Darren saying, immune system strong. My microbiology professor in college in the 70s had a saying, immunity is everything. I agree with that. Yes. If you take good care of your health, you will have a very, very strong, vital immune system. We really need to be working on our immune systems. And now we need to work on a group hug. That helps your immune system. Okay. We made it. Thank you. Let's ring a bell. We made it. All right. We're going to do a group hug that the world leaders that are in Washington, D.C. see the goodness of the American people and restore their faith in America. And maybe even they assist us. They help us. They reinforce us. They help us to bring down the orange clown. Watch my Off the Ledge to reduce stress. Thank you. That's daily. And let's also think about these concentration camps being shut down forever and ever. Some of them not being built ever. I heard that Alcatraz is being shut down. We can read on that. And for anybody who's struggling, especially our elders who are afraid of losing everything, and people who have lost everything, and anyone who's struggling with depression, let's do a group hug. Lift us all up. Okay, send a hug to the leaders, the European leaders. See the concentration camps never being built and the ones that are built being torn down. And anybody who's struggling, especially our elders and our forgotten veterans, and anyone who's really, really depressed, let's send them our energy. And let's lift each other up. Man, you guys are bowling me over with the white light here. Excellent. Excellent. Okay. Wow, that was a good group hug. How do you raise up people who think it... Hang on. How do you raise people up who whine about it being hopeless? Tell them to watch my channel. I mean, you kind of find out how people are in their lives and times like this. Like, let me just tell you that what's happening to all of us is that we are being forced to get strong, right? We're being forced to get strong. We don't know what we're capable of until we're forced to push beyond what we think we can do. And when you start engaging, your sense of hope, if it's not there, you gain a sense of hope. It makes a huge difference to get involved. We need community. Amanda's asking, how can we get people who whine about it being hopeless? If people had communities again, if you all had a community group that got together once a week to support each other through this time, we really need that. Yeah, tell them to join our virtual community. Did you miss a group hug? Yeah, you did. You were hugging your cat? Well, that's a group hug. What did I promise you that I'd read on before we go? I forgot. Let's read on Kamala. Specifically. We are saving ourselves. We want to help Kamala to get back up on a platform. But we're all doing this together. And she says the same thing. You get what you put out. Please, if you're feeling hopeless at all, or if you know someone who's feeling hopeless, go and watch Church of Spirituality, even if you only watch the sermon. I inspire myself. I mean, I kind of channel a sermon every week, and it's so hopeful, and it's so uplifting, and it so feeds you spiritually, and I'm so grateful. Out of everything I do, Church of Spirituality is the most profoundly, meaningful to me. And it will really help. Texas Republicans have locked Democratic representatives in the House chamber and refused to allow her to leave. Which one? They'll let her leave. They're just trying to instill fear. Let's ask the pendulum. Do you know who it is? They locked a Democratic representative in the House chamber and refused to allow her to leave. This is kidnapping. Electra Storm is saying, what a bunch of children they are. Mean children. Cheryl saying church was beautiful yesterday. Yeah, definitely check it out. Are they gonna? Well, they have to let her out eventually. Do you know who it is? Okay, so apparently the Texas Republican a-holes have locked a Democratic representative in the House chamber. It's so juvenile. Are they going to let her out soon? Yes, I have yes. That should infuriate us even more. They'll let her out. They're trying to scare her. Amanda's saying her friends don't, it's not that they're hopeless, they don't know what to do. Indivisible, 50501, they can stand out on the street holding up Trump works for Putin signs. I can make her one if she wants. Send a lot of white light to the Texas Democrats. They're trying to Send a lot of light to Nicole Collier. She's a Texas Democrat representative, and they've locked her in the house. What are they doing with her locked in there? They're trying to scare her. All right, we'll read on that, but we'll read on her. Yeah, they're freaking desperate and we have to make them feel even more desperate. They act like they're in a fraternity or something. Jeez, these lowlifes. She's refusing to have law enforcement escort her out. What did she do? Why are they locking her in? Call her representative. Yeah, can we call? Guess it might be kind of late, but you can still call. They want to make an example of her. Okay, the tower card indicates this is not good for these Texas Republicans. It's making them look so much worse. They're creating more enemies. Yeah, it's not going to go well for them. I actually see a lawsuit. I see a lawsuit. They're trying to be like the Prince of Darkness. And Five of Swords. This is bad for them. This is bad for them. They're inflicting a certain kind of pain, and it's bad for them. I see lawsuits. Unbelievable. I mean, do they just want to flaunt how awful they are and how unpopular and how ugly? Because when I was just reading on JD and Rubio, don't mistake what I'm saying to mean that they're gonna have a big change of heart and be Democrats, and nice people. But the Texas Republicans are looking really bad, and it doesn't go well for them when they're this heinous and horrible. They're requiring Democrats to sign permission slips and have a police escort to leave the chamber. That's why they are blocking her from leaving. Yeah, like I just said, what do they think they're in school? I Googled it. There's a story. Where's the story? On the web. Yeah, check it out. Yeah, they're showing us who they really are. Trump sent a SWAT team after the sandwich guy. I mean, I'm sorry, I shouldn't laugh, but they're so freaking desperate. And I just want you all to know that we're doing energy work. And the energy work that we do, that's really powerful stuff, causes these antics to not work. Yeah. And they're desperate. The demonic is desperate, and the demonic needs for us to be terrified, and it's not working. Watch out for those sandwich guys. Totally juvenile, this behavior. And we are the United States of America, and they're fucking with us, and they're not going to fucking get away with it. I'm sorry. I hope you're not offended by that. Yeah. Your kids live in D.C. and say the police and military presence there right now is overwhelming. Never felt unsafe there until now. Tell your kids that they're not unsafe. The National Guard is there to protect us. They don't need to be in D.C. They don't need to be in L.A. They don't need to be in all these cities. And let me just, before we go, let me remind you of the buffoon. And I'm not even going to apologize for showing you this. This is what we're afraid of. Are we really afraid of this? Really? Are we afraid of that? Let's pull ourselves up by our bootstraps. The judge laughed that out of court today, the sandwich thing. It took 12 guys to arrest the sandwich guy. He was going to turn himself in, but they sent an army instead to get him. So ridiculous. We need to keep them in the ridiculous zone in our minds. My next article that I'm writing for Substack is going to be entitled, America Needs to Grow Some Balls, right? Because this is a time that we have to show our courage, and people are doing that. Yeah. It's so ridiculous what they're doing. We need to mock them. We need to make fun of them. We need to put them in their place. They're total losers. Losers. You ain't scared. Rose is saying, I ain't scared. Honestly. They're afraid of a roast beef sandwich? They're afraid of a Texas Democrat that just wants to do her job? They're really giving themselves away. My trash mouth, it's such a highly useful word, so descriptive for all situations. Oh my gosh, we're over 1 hour. Yeah, we need a Gavin Newsom. I applaud the heroes, and when you see heroes out there, if you see them on in the media, the heroes for democracy, just really seriously send them light, send them Reiki, send them white light, send them prayers, even call them up and tell them they're doing amazing. And it's not just them, it has to be us too. We can't have it be like, oh, well, I hope they do it. I hope they save democracy. Okay, starting today, we're not doing that at all. Today, we make a mockery of them, right? We make a mockery of them. They can't handle it. They're a bunch of wimps. All right. Just as far as what's going on here, we have Off the Ledge daily. Please check it out. I mean, people are asking how to lift up vibrations. Watch Off the Ledge. I do that daily. Church of Spirituality. I do that weekly. I'll do PNN pop-ups every day if I can. Some days it just gets a little too hectic. And members, when you become a member, you have access to all my classes and presentations under the videos. And you also are invited, or is it this weekend? No. Labor Day weekend, which is the 30th, we have a psychic party at 8 p.m. Eastern. This is for members. And the last week, next week, I'm starting a tarot class. If you're a member, that's just a small fee per month. You can learn how to read the tarot. That's going to be maybe like a 10-week class. I'll do one video a week, so you can really learn the tarot. Okay, that's what I have for you tonight. Thank you so much. And yeah, just show up Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. It's so important that we come together. And on Thursday night, we have our guided meditation for Healed America. All right, sending you lots of love. Please support this channel. Hit the thumbs up and subscribe and share so that I can make some money. All right, namaste. See you soon. Love you.